My name's Amanda Godfrey, for those that don't know me. I'm the founder of Mystical Dragon. Mystical Dragon, we're a spiritual college. We have a beautiful spiritual store as well and practitioners that work with us. Um, and we have been operating for nearly 16 years now. It'll be 16 years in February, if you can believe it. And we're really excited. For those that don't know, we're in Melbourne and we've been under lockdown, and we are reopening our doors on Tuesday. So, November the 3rd, we'll be reopening at 10 a.m. So, we're really excited to be reopening next week after all of this lockdown. For those of you that might be local, I'd love to see you soon, hopefully, to be able to pop in as well. So tonight I'm going to talk a bit about the Taurus full moon and just some ideas for you that are particularly connected to the Taurus full moon. So not just full moons in general, although I probably will talk a little bit about in general, but more focused on the Taurus full moon. So this weekend we have our Taurus full moon, or the full moon will be in the sign of Taurus. And for those of us that are here in Australia, that actually falls at like 1:49 a.m. on Sunday morning, but for a lot of the world it falls on Saturday. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about that this is a blue moon, and so for us here in Australia, or I think for the majority of us, depending on the time differences um, with daylight savings, um, it's not a blue moon when it falls on Sunday for us, because Sunday is actually November the 1st. So for us, it's technically not a blue moon. We will actually have our blue moon in November. So ours will be at the end of November. But for most of the globe, it will be a blue moon for those of you that it falls on Saturday. And a blue moon is when we have a second full moon that falls in a month. And that doesn't happen terribly often. So it is seen as a more rare event, and is considered a more potent full moon when we have a blue moon. And we also have the Witches' Sabbath, depending where you are, whether you're Southern Hemisphere or Northern Hemisphere. We have the Witches' Sabbath of Beltane for those of us in the Southern Hemisphere, or Samhain or Halloween for those that are in the Northern Hemisphere. That falls over this weekend as well. So I always see that as an even more potent full moon again when we have one that falls on a Sabbath. I'm not going to talk particularly about the Sabbath though, because to be able to do the Facebook Live in a reasonable amount of time, I wouldn't be able to talk about that as well. But anyone that's interested to know more about the Witches' Sabbath, I actually have individual workshops on those in Mystical Dragons Correspondence College, and that is attached to our website. So please check that out at mysticaldragon.com.au if you want to know more about the individual Sabbaths and ideas on working with those, and what they're all about and how they connect in with the season. But the main thing I will say in connection with both of those Sabbaths is that at both of those Sabbaths, the veil is actually considered to be thin at that time. So that just simply means that there tends to be a lot more spirit around. There tends to be, it tends to be a bit easier to connect to deceased loved ones, to those in spirit, to even elemental energies like the Fae are very strong at this time with Beltane. So we've got that potent full moon energy that's also going to help boost that connection that we have as well. So it's really going to be quite a powerful full moon energy that we're going to experience this weekend. And I'm sure you're already starting or have been feeling some of that energy in the build up to this weekend as well. I know that I have. Um, just as a side note, we've also got a few other things energetically that have been going on at present too. Um, we have we've had some solar flares that have caused a solar storm. So we've got a lot of solar winds that's actually been interacting or buffeting the Earth's atmosphere at the moment. And we've had the Schumann resonance that has been having lots of spikes in the last few days as well. And so this also adds to this real heightening of energy that's going on for us at present. So it's worth knowing that there's lots energetically going on at not just the full moon, but there are other layers that are also kind of adding to that heightened vibration and heightened energy at present. So when we have a lot of solar activity and the Schumann resonance tends to be active, we tend to also get what's called ascension symptoms, which can make us feel extra tired, can contribute to aches and pains that might be worse. We can have headaches and migraines that we can experience, dizziness, earaches. I've found it's like popping of ears and buzzing of ears that have been going on the last few days. That's just them kind of doing some of the readjustments for us so that we can be more open and connected on a spiritual level, and open to the messages and to spirit and our guides that are around us as well. So know that that's all part of that. There are a lot more ascension symptoms that we may be experiencing as well. I have done a separate Facebook Live that talks about ascension symptoms, and I also have a written article on Mystical Dragon's website that talks about them as well. So Mystical has a YouTube channel where I also upload our Facebook Lives to as well. If you want to go back and see any of the other topics like the Ascension one, or you can, I think it's that there's a video tab on our Facebook page too that you can click to and have a scroll through those there as well. So yes, Luna, I've been having quite a few symptoms this week too. So, and I know quite a few people that have. So yes, definitely we're feeling this energy at the moment. So know that there's lots of heightened energy at present, and you might be feeling that. And we can equally also find ourselves feeling extra connected and extra in the flow, depending on where we're at. We feel ascension symptoms when they're kind of doing the readjustments and our body's trying to cope with the energy and the downloads that are coming through. But when we're in the right space, when we're kind of really clear, then we can instead be feeling really in tune, and it's like, you know, synchronicities and flowing with things and getting lots of guidance and hearing our guides really easily, and those sorts of things that can occur as well. And we can kind of shift between the two as we kind of do a wave of clearing, and then once we're clear, it's like we might find that we're in that better zone to be open to the messages that are coming through. So know that that might be occurring for you at present too, because there's so much solar activity and Schumann spikes on top of this building full moon energy as well. But I don't want to get sidelined too much in that for you guys. So back to the full moon itself. Full moons in general are really brilliant times where we've got lots of potent energy for doing anything. So honestly, any kind of spell or magical work that you want to do, any manifesting work you want to do, any healing work you want to do, anything where you either want to draw things into your life and build things and add things, or focus on keeping things in your life, or anything where you want to work on clearing and releasing, or like I said, doing some healing work maybe to build yourself back up, rejuvenate yourself. Full moons are really potent for any of that kind of work. So that's why they tend to be pretty popular to work with, because they're great for everything. It will heighten the energy of anything that you put your own intent and energy into. It will kind of build it up and heighten it and help you with whatever it is you're doing. So every full moon, it's a really great idea to do things like charge our crystals. So definitely try and get your crystals outside to soak up some of that beautiful full moon energy at each and every full moon if you can, because they'll get a really nice cleanse and a charge up in that full moon energy. Every full moon, it's great to do some divination. So, you know, whatever, whether it's tarot cards or oracle cards or pendulums or whatever it is that you love to do, that helps you kind of connect in and bring through messages, perhaps looking ahead, getting some guidance on what's going on or what the next step is. Whatever it happens to be, it's a really good time to kind of tune in for those guidance. And divination or divination tools are a really great way to help us to do that. And of course, every full moon meditation is very valuable to do as well, no matter what full moon it is. And we have Laura that runs full moon meditations with us at Mystical Dragon. They're all live online. I can highly recommend them, and Laura actually shifts the focus of each one depending on the full moon and what's coming up. So this one, Laura's running tomorrow night, is really focused on deep relaxation and connecting in with our physical bodies. And I think doing a little bit of healing on those lines for peace and healing for ourselves. So I highly recommend perhaps having a look at doing that as well. And of course, things like moon gazing, get out under the moon herself and gaze at the stars, and try and get out under the moon at full moons as well. Obviously very ideal at that time. A Taurus full moon in particular has certain energies, and I suppose I always say keywords or key things that we can work with at the Taurus moon as well. Taurus moon is my money moon. It is my favorite moon for doing any kind of money manifesting or working on money flow. So that's my absolute favorite, is the Taurus full moon. I find it works really well for all of your, I say working on money flow, because it's not just about doing magic for bringing money in, but we can also work on actually clearing any blockages that we might have that are actually halting that money flow as well. And it's really valuable to mention that whenever we do any kind of money spells, money magic, or money manifestation, it doesn't even have to be magically related. When we do that, we put out to the universe that we obviously want to bring money in, but that will usually trigger if there are blocks. So we might have limiting beliefs on that money flow, on allowing money to come in. A limiting belief could be that we don't believe that we deserve money. We don't believe that we deserve a lot of money, perhaps. So that will tend to be highlighted for us when we do any kind of manifesting around money. Universe will bring us ways to highlight those things that are blocking the money, if there is something that's blocking it. So do know when we do that sort of thing, we do those kind of manifesting, that universe will highlight that, because it wants you to actually work on that and help to clear it so that it can bring that money in that you're requesting. So it's not trying to be mean, it's trying to highlight this is the area to work on. So, and that's the same for all the manifesting and spell work that we do, whether it's money or something else. If there is a particular limiting belief that is actually what's helping to block that money flow in the first place, or block whatever it is you're asking for, it will tend to get highlighted for you if you do spell work or manifesting, just so that you're aware of it and you can do some clearing and do some work around it to help heal it, so that universe can bring in that money, or can bring in whatever you've asked for. So do be aware of it. Kind of try to have your blinkers off so that you can acknowledge it, see it's happening, see, oh, this could be a theme that's going on here that I might need to work on, and then you can kind of grab on and do something with that and work on that particular blockage. So I hope that makes sense. But do know that that's how universe works. And I have lots of people come to me and say, I did money magic and it's not been working. But usually if I have a conversation with them around, has there been a theme that's come up instead? What sort of things have happened? We can usually start to look at, well, what is that block that's kind of trying to be highlighted for you? And that way you can work on that, and then the money will start to flow, and it'll all start to work for you, and you'll see that spell will manifest. So if you are looking for a particular money spell to use, I have I have an online book of shadows on Mystical Dragon's website, and I have two money spells that are there. One of those went out in the newsletter last week. So every newsletter I either focus on the upcoming new moon or the upcoming full moon, and I usually just suggest a spell. So I did that last week, but both of those spells, so the one in the newsletter and my favorite frog money spell, are both on Mystical Dragon's online book of shadows. So that's under our mysticaldragon.com.au. If you want to have a look, you'll find it there. And there's I think 25 or 30 spells there in total at the moment. So there's some good ideas there for you if you want to do some money magic. This is the time I also tend to do things like I'll make my prosperity or my money spray that I make, that I sell through Mystical Dragon as well. And we're taking pre-orders for those. You can do money charm bags. You can charge up crystals in particular, specifically for helping with money flow. So citrine is one of my favorites for that. This is a piece of citrine here. Citrine is a stone of abundance. So do know that if you want it to bring you an abundance of money, we do need to program it and ask it to please bring us that abundance of money. So 2 hands and focusing on our request of what we want it to be working on for us. So be nice and specific. I like to use like a nice affirmation, nice, short, to the point statement about what it is that I want it to do, and do that for a couple of minutes. Visualize it. Try and feel, what does it feel like if it's all coming in, visualize the bills paid and what you would do with the money, and all of that sort of thing. So citrine's a really good one for working on money. Green jade is another really great one. A lot of your green stones are also really good. Pyrite, which is a nice gold one, and also called fool's gold, is another really great one that you could work on for money and abundance. So at the full moon, it'd be a great time to cleanse your crystal that you want to work with for money and abundance in the full moon energy, and then charge it up, and then you can start carrying it and using it. Deb's just asked if a crystal has been used for a particular intent. I'm going to bet that you want to know if you could use it for a different intent later on. So yes, when you cleanse it, just ask that any other programs or intents that you've put in are cleared so that you can use it again in future. So, and that way it'll just make sure that previous intents have been cleared if you want to use it for something else. Okay, so yes, they're really good crystals. So great time to cleanse it overnight. And then, so for instance, if you wanted to cleanse your crystal Saturday night, if you're in Australia, then on Sunday you could charge it up ready for that abundance to help you in manifesting the money. And you could carry it on you, or perhaps have it sitting somewhere where you see it often. Sometimes I have it on my altar if I'm doing things like going in the lotto, which I don't do so often. But if I do, then I might put the lotto ticket under my piece of crystal that's charged for abundance to hopefully help charge the lotto ticket up. So there's lots of different ways you can work with it, but carrying it tends to be, I suppose, the most often the way that we work with it for abundance. This is a great time to refresh abundance altars if you have one. I'm personally a big one for having a few little altars that are around the house that have little different focuses. Having an abundance altar, which is about manifesting money, obviously, bringing in money and wealth, can be a nice thing to have in your home, where you have things that connect with money. I have like a little money tree, or perhaps an oracle card or two that connect with bringing in abundance and wealth. You might have your abundance crystal on it. If you have an abundance bowl, then that's a great place to have your abundance, have it on your abundance altar. Teaching about abundance bowls. November the 13th, I'm running an online workshop for that as well. If you're interested and aren't sure what that is, I go into depth into that as well. So you can check out our website for that too. So there's lots of things that just connect with or make sense to you in relation to money flow is what you would have on your abundance altar. And that's just to help kind of connect you into that abundance flow, that money flow, and bringing money in. So positive things that kind of inspire you on that, money flow side of things that you would have on your abundance altar. And when I say refresh, it's like dust it, clean it off, maybe put a fresh cloth on it. Perhaps consider whether you're going to change some of the elements that you've got on there, or the items that you've got on there. Burning like a gold candle or a green candle on your abundance altar helps with money flow as well. So they're the two color candles that are particularly connected to your money flow. So these are things that you could certainly do over this weekend and this Taurus moon. Like I mentioned, clearing blocks to money flow. So even if you're not doing any spell or manifesting work, you might want to actually contemplate, do I have any blocks to financial flow that perhaps I need to work on? And I've mentioned some of those. Maybe you're not feeling that you're worthy. Maybe you got brought up that money is evil, and it's really hard to want something, like genuinely, deeply want something, if you think that it's evil and you don't want, you're not an evil person. Um, if you got taught that, the only way you get money is to work really hard for it, then, that's going to be one of those beliefs where if you're not working hard, you won't be manifesting money. So there's so many beliefs that we could have that are getting in our way of manifesting money. So something like, I love Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. She's got a whole section in there on prosperity, and she's got whole sections on many different things. That whole book is wonderful for working on many different parts of ourselves. So I highly recommend that. It has lots of ideas for helping to clear us and work through some of those limiting beliefs, creating affirmations, all those wonderful things as well. I love Jerry and Esther Hicks too. They've got a great book, Money and the Law of Attraction, which has got some great ideas and really looks at some of those beliefs and things as well. So you might have some other resources or books at home that might be really good to use for helping to look at ways to clear beliefs or work on some of those limiting beliefs for yourself. But over the Taurus moon, this is a really good time to actually start to just contemplate it, perhaps do some journal writing about it. It might just be having that starting point where you're thinking about those things, and do I have any of those blocks? Is that maybe why the money's not really flowing? Maybe I'm constantly broke, and you need to look at some of those limiting beliefs if that's the case. Moving slightly away from the money, I say slightly because it's just not directly, but it is a way we earn money. This is also a really great time to do things like magical manifesting for a job. So if you are looking for a new job, or you're looking for a job just to begin with, or you want a pay rise, or you maybe want to put some energy into, I have a job and I really need to keep this job, and I really want to add energy to being able to keep this job and make it a viable job, then this is a really good weekend to do some of that kind of manifesting and energy work around that as well. So any of that kind of job connected manifesting that you want to do, this weekend is really good for that. Yellow or orange candles tend to be really good when it comes to working magic for our job. So you could charge up an appropriate color candle, so a yellow or orange candle with your intent, and do some candle magic if you wanted to help in doing that creating and manifesting for yourself on a job level as well. Or I find vision boards are really great for jobs too, particularly if you're looking for maybe a new job. A vision board is a really great way to help do that. And it doesn't have to be a poster. It might be in your journal that you've got dot points that are connected to what's really important in your job, and putting those dot points down, having respect from everybody, feeling like you're appreciated, all the stuff that's really essential to you in having a job. Include that in your vision board or in that page of dot points. And that's a really powerful way to do some manifesting for yourself. So definitely perhaps think about doing that if you're looking at new job type things as well. Good time to do that. This is a great time also to put energy into if you need to move house or do anything connected with real estate. So selling a house, buying a new house, moving to a new home. So anything along those lines, this weekend is a really good time to do any kind of work around manifesting that as well. Once again, some candle magic can be really potent for that. For real estate, I would recommend orange or brown would probably be your better colored candles to use for candle magic, in particular for real estate. Or if it's the selling of a house, I tend to more steer towards green as the color, because we're wanting to kind of bring in the money, but be really specific with that as well. Vision boards are fantastic for manifesting new homes as well. I find, once again, getting really detailed with what are the important aspects of the home. And it's always what I forget to put on the vision board that I don't quite get. in a new home. So make sure you try and cover all aspects of it, including, things like, do you want gas cooking? Do you want electric cooking? How many bedrooms is your minimum? All those sorts of things. And then we can kind of let it go for the universe to help create and bring it to us. So good weekend to be doing any kind of vision board work. Taurus full moon is fantastic for that. Even on a not so magical level, it's a good weekend with the Taurus money moon to do things like write yourself a budget and set yourself a budget, or set yourself a savings plan and decide, yes, I'm going to stick with this and I'm really going to start that from this weekend. Sorry, Heather. Renovations for property, good too at this time. Yes, absolutely. You can put energy towards renovation. So anything connected to property, you can put energy and manifesting in with your Taurus full moon, definitely. So once again, I'd go to the orange or the brown candle if you want to do candle magic. Or like I say, you could even use a vision board for that and, kind of brainstorm the aspects of the renovation that you're wanting to. And I always tick things off as I achieve them off my vision board too. Now, Taurus moon is also connected with things like harmony in the home. So we can do anything that helps to create harmony in the home, that helps to set that intent and really draw that energy in. So you might like to smudge at some stage over this weekend. And always when I smudge, I not only have that intent of clearing out negative energy, but also set the intent for what you want to draw into your home as well. On Mystical's website, we've got the article section as well. So under our article section, we've got the Book of Shadows, and we've also got articles that have been written as well, not just by me, but a few of the other practitioners too. And in the article section, I have a how to smudge. So if you're not sure how to smudge properly, there is actually instructions off our website that you can download all for free. It's all there for you if you're not quite sure. But when we smudge, we should, of course, clear out negative energy and anything that we don't want anymore, but also set the intent of what you do want. So like harmony in the home, having beautiful, peaceful space, having happiness in the home, all those sorts of things are things to kind of be putting energy into our home as well. And this weekend with the Taurus moon is the ideal time as well. You might want to charge some crystals for stability and peace and for that harmony in the home as well. A lot of our brown crystals are really good for things like stability and peace. Also, rose quartz is a really beautiful one, which lots of people have and love to work with as well. So once again, once you've charged your crystals with the full moon, you might want to, cleansed your crystals with the full moon, you might want to charge it up with that particular intent and maybe carry that with you. We can also set an altar up that is specific with its intent for our home. So I like to have a home altar, and it has just a few little things that kind of symbolize what I want to have in my home. So things like harmony and happiness. It might have a couple of photos of, the members of my household doing things where they're happy and they're smiling. It might have something that represents abundance as part of it. It might have something that represents travel, if travel's something that you want. Anything that you want to have represented for your family can be on that altar. So this is a good time if you don't have an altar that's specifically connected around, your household and your home and those things that you'd really like to manifest and create for yourself and your home, your household, then this is a really beautiful time this weekend to do that and to set that in place. Like I say, it's all about what it means to you. So don't worry about if somebody else sees it, what that means. It's all about the symbology that it means to you. So when you look at your altar, what does that trigger for you? What does that make you think? So that's what the focus is when it comes to your altars. So you might use a couple of oracle cards that mean something to you, that draw certain elements with like love and happiness and harmony and those sort of things, and use crystals and other statues or photos or images that make sense to you. So that's all it needs to be. The books that I showed before is Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and Esther and Jerry Hicks, Money and the Law of Attraction. And we usually stock both of these books. I'm not sure if they're up on our e-store at the moment, but I'm pretty sure they'll at least be on the shelf at Mystical Dragon if you're looking for them as well. Just checking my little brainstorming list that I wrote myself earlier. This is also a great time, Taurus moon, great time to do any spells for long-term healing. So Taurus is typically, it's because it's an earth energy, it's typically a grounding energy, and it looks more long-term. So that's why things like, manifesting of money and acquisitions and real estate and those sort of things can work, because that's often quite long-term stuff. But we can also do a lot of magic around long-term healing that we want to do. It's a great time to do that. I do have particularly one healing spell that I love to use, which is working with Archangel Raphael. That's on my online book of shadows if you're looking for a healing spell to maybe do this weekend. Taurus rules over the neck, the throat, and the ears. So this will also be potent time to do healing over anything connected to neck, throat, and ears. But like I say, long-term healing as well, or any kind of healing, because it's full moon. So if you just need to do healing and it doesn't fall under those kind of, headings, don't stress. Just do your healing work if you need to do healing work on whatever has been troubling you. It will be potent because it's full moon energy anyway, okay? We can do things like world peace healing as well. Healing circles are fantastic at this time. And doing things that are grounding, because it's earth connected, doing things that are grounding, that kind of connect us to the earth, is really ideal to do over this Taurus full moon. So you might like to get out in the garden or purposely go for a walk somewhere specific in nature that makes you feel really grounded and earthy. Normally I find a Taurus moon is a little bit grounding in and of itself, but I'm doubting that this weekend's Taurus full moon will feel really very grounded unless we kind of are purposely trying to do something grounding. Because of those things I mentioned at the start, we've got a lot of heightened energy, the veils are thin, we've got many things that are kind of layering along with the full moon. I'm going to doubt that we're going to feel really grounded, but purposely perhaps do some things that will make you feel more grounded this weekend to connect to that Taurus earthy energy for yourself. Now, very lastly, and I know I've gone way over time as I seem to always do, I just wanted to mention there's a deck that I really love working with, and I find it's great to help connecting with the different moons and helping as a focus on your altar. So on my working altar, I love to have some of her cards. So Moonology, it's by Yasmin Boland. This is I hope you can see it, the full moon in Taurus card that she has. So that can just be a beautiful focus to have on your altar over the weekend, and you can change it with each full moon and with each new moon. So beautiful deck to work with. And I'm really excited because she also has a diary as well. And her diary actually has like a little working section for each full moon and new moon, where she suggests some things to actually contemplate over that particular new moon or full moon. So that looks like I'm excited to work with that one myself next year, and actually, focus on the different key things at each new moon and full moon that she suggests, and see what things she suggests as well as what I'm also intuitively guided with myself, or kind of, there's certain rituals I already have in place myself, but it's nice to kind of mix it up and see what other people suggest. Yes, it is a beautiful deck, isn't it, girls? Thank you. So that is essentially some of the ways we can work with the Taurus full moon this weekend. Whenever it falls for you, wherever you happen to be in the world, whether you're here with me in Melbourne or somewhere else. That's just some suggestions. You might intuitively get guided to other things to do over this weekend, or you might be just guided, like I said, to purely work with that full moon energy that's just going to be potent for whatever it is that you might be feeling called to do or need to do at this time. So don't feel that you have to do stuff that's connected to the Taurus. go with what you need at this time. If it's something else, then certainly follow that for yourself for sure.